The 2018 Spider-Man game was universally praised as a great game, but there was something that left a stain on a lot of players' experience, being taken out of your role as Spider-Man. But if you're there to explore, then a good few of these moments were, in my opinion, some of the best bits in the game. So, let me tell you why. My name is Snax, and welcome to Pixel Passport. There was one thing that was unanimously agreed upon. The swinging in the game was the best it had been since Spider-Man 2 in 2004.
Look, it's Spider-Man!
And, as was said to a ridiculous degree, it really makes you feel like Spider-Man. The combat and the story don't fall far behind either. It's fun and manages to get you invested, especially because the characters are likable, and most of them just might be my favorite iterations. That said, I'm pretty much only versed in the Spider-Man movies, so yeah. But it's when you get placed in some of their shoes that some feel the game grinds to a halt. Well, that's if you're only there for the swinging. See, the swinging is fun. Real fun. Especially when you get to swing around such a lovingly recreated Manhattan. But as you do, you take it all in at like 20 miles per hour. I mean, it's not a bad way to take it in at all. But it just felt refreshing to me when I had a reason to slow down and pay attention to how much work had been put into the game world. There are two types of slowdown bits: visits and sneaking segments. You get to visit Feast and Dr. Octavius' lab, where you get to see how the characters live their lives and interact with things.
Good plan.
These are pretty laid back and don't really have any challenge to them, but you can really go out of your way with it and find a lot of neat little tidbits. Notes are posted and news articles thrown around. If you want to, you can piece together quite a lot, and it all comes together to give you a good feel for the place and people's histories. There's the chance to play some mini games. They aren't particularly interesting, but provide some benefits. You can skip these for the most part though. They are mandatory in a handful of places, but aren't exactly challenging. The accessibility options in this game are pretty nice, by the way. Now, those I don't think anyone had that many problems with, as they can be essentially skipped by just running to the event trigger, and you don't need more than a couple brain cells for that. Where the problems do start is when you get put into the shoes of MJ.
Hey, Pete.
For those uninitiated, she's a journalist, and very much of the sleuthing kind, so that means she gets into all kinds of sticky situations, and that means you have to get her out of them. Since I am an avid sneaking game fan, and somewhat versed in video game design, I had little problems speeding through these sections. They are quite clearly labeled, and the tension is mostly smoke and mirrors. But for those unaware, these could really put a damper on the experience.
Not good.
That said, spending a little bit more time in these levels isn't all that bad. While the city isn't packed with that much detail when you swing around, as you would miss it anyway, these bits don't skimp out. The museum in particular was neat, with the attendant actually giving you insight into some of the pieces and MJ commenting on them.
Sometimes I feel like the whole history of the world is just boys playing dress-up, getting into fights.
That said, the times when you are forced onto the ground are the times when the city truly springs to life. I said that the city is scarce with detail when you swing around, but that isn't entirely true. You just missed most of it. There's still lovingly rendered bits and pieces throughout, just enough to let the city feel lived in. And the NPCs don't just stand or walk around. They've been given quite a few ways to go about their day, and it's neat to see. And being able to high-five or finger gun people is really charming. So, instead of getting cross whenever they do appear, try seeing what the developers have tucked away in these segments. Maybe you too will begin to appreciate them. If not, the rest of the game is still very solid. I'd give Spider-Man, as a sticky romp through New York, a silver ticket.
Yeah.
So, get in there and be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, if you want more games to check out where you can experience more of that New York, The Division is a great one. The environment in that one is beautifully crafted and is worth checking out, even if the gameplay doesn't exactly strike your fancy. And, for a more unique pick of New York, check out Parasite Eve. It's a survival horror RPG that's a mix of Resident Evil and Vagrant Story. It also has one of the best female protagonists in gaming. At least in that first game. For a superhero game, you should check out Batman Arkham Asylum. Most have at least heard of it by now, but if you're new to gaming or just didn't give it a go at the time, It's well worth checking out.
The joke's on you.
And, finally, for some good speed and awesome movement, try Titanfall 2. It's got the best movement in any FPS, and the single player campaign is a fun ride through some great areas. It's been good having you here, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya!